What's going on YouTube? Nathan back with another video presentation. Hope everyone's having a great Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everybody's staying safe. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I need to say up front. You know, as we are closer, we're less than as of tomorrow or a day away from what's going to happen in Washington. Please stay safe. Do not be stupid in trying to get yourself harmed or arrested and trying to participate in that buffoonery. I have a friend who works with the federal government, and I just hope that he'll be all right. I know he'll be all right. He's a father, he's a husband, and I just hope that he's going to be all right. He's going to be safe, but he'll be all right down there Wednesday. Again, I just appreciate the support that you guys have been giving me the channel. It's again these topics. I try to give the best opinion that I can. But like I said, the one I said in that review video, the one thing I will not tolerate. I mean, I'm all for having a conversation. I'm all for having a conversation, but I do not debate with anyone who makes goofy comments. You will not get that from me because you're not worth my time. Plain and simple. Like I said, I'm going to delete the comment. I'm going to block the channel. Simple as that. I don't argue with anyone that makes goofy comments. I don't. Not worth my time. Let's get into the video. Yes. Yes, I'm still recovering from the loss to the Buffalo Bills, 17-3. I don't know where to start, honestly. I'm glad to know that Lamar Jackson's doing well. I want to give a shout out to Buffalo Mafia, man. Buffalo Bill fans, man. They donated a tremendous amount to his charity. Shout out to Bills Mafia, man. Even though those fans are some crazy people jumping off RVs and the tables and all that other stuff. The support that they gave Lamar and seeing him down like that, that's what's up, man. We need people like that. We need to see more generosity like that in today's society. Even though you do see it, it's not publicized. Let's just say it like that. So again, just shout out the Buffalo Bills, the Bills Mafia fans, man. Appreciate y'all. Was not surprised. Let me say that. I want to start off this for those that really thought that this team was going to go 16-0. A couple things. I think you should be banned from talking or writing football, and I think you need to have whatever you drink in your cup checked. When you look at this team, the one thing. Let's just call it this. There were glaring strengths. There were strengths that showed weaknesses. And we can all say that, the weather played a role into it. It was windy. You hear both coaches saying, particularly from the shotgun, they couldn't get, the deep throw out there well enough. When you look at this team, it's a running football team. It's always, honestly, truthfully been that way. It goes back to when the early 2000s when we first started. Jamal Lewis, Priest Holmes, Willis McGahee, Chester Taylor, Ray Rice. It's tradition. It's always been a running football team. But the thing that first and foremost has to change going in the offseason. The Ravens must work with Lamar Jackson on his mechanics. I cannot stress it enough. I think Lamar Jackson is an amazing talent. When he was drafted 32 overall by us, I was shocked. I did not think we were going to get him. I didn't even see in any way how we're going to get him. Great going out the pocket. This is his second, another season where he's got over 1,000 yards rushing. But I will stress this: he must know how to throw the ball. Not saying he can't throw. It's just his mechanics have to be better. Plain and simple. Lamar Jackson. This is another thing that Eric DaCosta and the Ravens front office have to address. He needs a number one wide receiver. I cannot stress that enough. Miles Boykin, Hollywood Brown, great talent. Oh, Miles Boykin from last year to this year, I would say has slightly improved. Hollywood Brown is not a number one wide receiver. He's a deep threat vertical receiver, maybe number 3 option, number 2 maybe. But they need an Anquan Bolden like Derek Mason, Torrey Smith, and Allen Robinson, Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay. They need a wide receiver like that. It's glaring, and you can see it clearly. I think that has to be the number one. That has to be the issue that has to be addressed, because whether you like it or not, this is going to be the result of the Baltimore Ravens because their ceiling is high. Are they better than the Chiefs? No. Are they better than the Bills? No. Cleveland? I don't know. But they're not a Super Bowl favorite. Right now, this playoff series, this season really showed we are not a Super Bowl favorite. We're just not. Because again, number one wide receiver is lacking. Lamar Jackson's and his mechanics. They need to buff the offensive interior line. It was really disgusting. They had it to me in the first half of the game, where they were double teaming the defensive line, but it seemed like they had no answer for Buffalo defensively. Tyree Phillips and Ben Powers were just getting thrashed. They had no answers. We can make a case and say, without Marshall Yonda, there's no toughness on that offensive line. And guaranteed they lost their Pro Bowler and highest paid player, Ronnie Stanley, to injury. They need a center. They need, when you look, Matt Sikora, Patrick McCarry, they're great linemen. We need a center. When you see that high snap, I'm like, that's to me. Besides when he threw the pick six, to me the game was truly over when he snapped the ball that high over Lamar's head. So that right there is number 2 that needs to be addressed. I pulled this up on Sports Track. I'll leave the link in the description for y'all to see it. Let me pull it up. Excuse me. I'm looking at the Ravens here for the offseason. They have 28 free agents. Matthew Judon, Yannick Ngakoue, Willie Snead, Mark Ingram, who the Ravens will cut tomorrow, Derek Wolfe, Sikora, RG3, who got cut today, Anthony Levine, I believe, was cut today, Chris Moore, Tyrus Bowser, Pernell McPhee, Morgan Cox, DJ Fluker, Tramon Williams, he got cut today, Des Bryant, Jaleel Ward, Justin Ellis, Jordan Richards, Eric Tomlinson, DeAndre White, Gus Edwards, Johnny Townsend, Devontae Harris, he got cut today, Tristan Colon Castillo, Anthony Wesley, Khalil Dorsey, Christian Welsh, and Chris Board. Now, my concern is this. You have Judon for the most part, I'm looking at it, he's going to want some money. So we can say that he's out the door. Derek Wolf, from what I'm understanding, that they're interested in bringing him back. But the thing is that we got to understand is, I look at Calais Campbell, I look at Brandon Williams. They're all going to be a year older. And the one thing, particularly with football, and really anyone can really relate to this sport with basketball. When you are an all-star, Pro Bowler, your window, as soon as the moment you get older, you know the window to win a championship short. And again, the ceiling is still high for the Ravens. But these issues that I'm pointing out, they're glaring weaknesses. They have to be addressed. And to me, like I said, if this is a sexy product that needs to go back to the drawing board, I think another thing that has to be fixed is that passing scheme. This is what killed Greg Roman, and me. I was having a conversation with Russell. Shout out to Russell. And this is what killed him in San Francisco, and this is what killed him in Baltimore. And he has refused, and he's not willing to seem to make the necessary changes to the scheme, because it's obvious. It's that pistol formation. They're going to motion Patrick Ricard to the left or the right. Hollywood Brown coming out the backfield, running an out route, a little screen route. It's obvious that there needs to be some. You have to mix the playbook up, because what you saw Saturday, Buffalo's Leslie Frazier and the Bills defense figured Baltimore out. And you're kind of saying to yourself, well, how did this team beat Tennessee the week before? And you really couldn't seem to have an answer for this defense. Biggest issue that I have going forward for next year is I'm looking at the salary cap for the NFL and then for the cap for the Ravens. Because of COVID, I don't know what impact it has, and I don't know. This is tough. Again, I'm looking at these guys are the free agents. Judon, like I said, Judon's gone. Derek Wolf, I'm sure he would like to stay. The linebackers, you had Judon, like I said, Judon, Pernell McPhee, Tyrus Boyser, and Ngakoue. Ngakoue was disappointed. For a guy that was treated for a 5th round pick, Maryland boy, I'm disappointed. I think out of all of them, I think he'd be interesting to get on it to re-sign. Pernell McPhee's a 10-year vet. He's just getting older. Tyrus Bowser's a homegrown product. And you have Jalen Ferguson, who was a healthy scratch. You just have a lot of... All I'm going to say is, out of these guys right here, one of them you're not bringing back. And my guess is it's Judon. And I really would hate for to have another linebacker, Zadarius Smith, C.J. Mosley, and then now Judon. I would hate for them to not lose another linebacker, and not really replace, not really fill those shoes. Patrick Queen, LSU, disappointed. There's a little disappointed from the standpoint of I need to see more consistency. That's all the issue I have with Patrick Queen. But other than that, the talent's there. It is there. I can see it. It's just consistency. The other thing that I look at, again, I just look at this offense. You're ranked 21st and yards per dropback, and I would think to help again with Mark Andrews, Boykin, Brown, a number one wide receiver. Now, will that address the Ravens' issues? That is the case to be known. That's yet to be seen. Because right now, if Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh said, well, we don't see nothing wrong with this team, we're going to keep it the way it is. Because we know that Eric DeCosta and the Ravens are going to go do their work in the offseason. We know this. But what you saw this weekend and what you've seen pretty much these last two seasons, if you are a Raven fan, we should not be going Super Bowl right now. Because, again, glaring holes. And it bothers me because when you got a guy like Stephen A. Smith who blamed Lamar for losing the game, when in reality it was, we could legitimately say the pick six, yes, that was on him. But when you don't have when you're playing in bad weather, like the wind, for example, in Buffalo, because it can get cold. It's like playing at Lambeau Field sometimes. That's going to affect your play in some way. But let's also too, if y'all remember that divisional game last year against Tennessee, Lamar Jackson did his part. When you looked at, again, Willie Snead, Miles Boykin, Brown, dropping passes, Mark Andrews too, dropping passes. That's a problem. From a team that went 14-2 to 11-5. First round, divisional, two back-to-back divisional exits. Again, the ceiling is still high for the Ravens, no doubt. But if you're going to tell me that this is what your offense is going to be for the next 3 to 5 years, that window for Super Bowl will be closed. It's out the door. Because this is going to be the end result of the Ravens. If not making the playoffs 8-8, 9-7 tops. Got to give Lamar Jackson some help. But Lamar Jackson has to work on his mechanics in the offseason. And I think, again, Lamar Jackson, we all know is going to put in that work in the offseason. Lamar, please stay away from speedboats. I saw that video this summer where you were on the beach, but and you I don't know what that was, but please stay away from speedboats, okay? No, excuse me, jet skis, not jet skis. Jet skis, I apologize, jet skis. But I'm just disappointed because to see what this team has gone through, the most cases of COVID throughout the league. And, again, I just saw a different mentality when everyone came back healthy. And I think that this is a motivator for this team for next year. This was our 20th year. 20 years ago, we won, Super Bowl 35. Arguably the best defense, and the best defense in NFL history. You can put up there with 85 Bears, etc. And same thing. You can make the case. Well, the offense wasn't great in 2000. Well, yay and nay. You had Trent Dilfer. At first, people forget. Tony Banks, I believe, started 5 or 6 of those games, and within those games, did not throw a single touchdown. And then the decision was to put Trent Dilfer in there, who was essentially a game manager. You have a guy like Shannon Sharp, Quadri Ishmael, Brandon Stokely, Jermaine Lewis. You go, well, what's this? Well, why are we not throwing the ball? Travis Taylor, Jamal Lewis, Priest Holmes, Sam Gash. It just has to be fixed. That's the point I'm trying to make. And when I look at this team, Boykin, Brown, great receiver. They're great receivers. I think they're going to be okay for this team. But like I said, they need a number one, number two wide receiver. And I don't know, you know, like their asking prices are going to be. And like I said, it's the Ravens have some decisions to make this offseason. And that has to be your number one priority for Lamar Jackson. For me personally, I'd like to see them replace Greg Roman, but that's not going to happen. But Greg Roman they have to sit him down and say, look, listen, guy, you got to make these changes because your postseason scheme play scheme is terrible. It's terrible, and it has to be changed. Because if not, like I said, this is the end result. This is what the Ravens are going to look like if they do not make the necessary changes going forward. But other than that, man, I'm proud of this team. I hope they all stay. I hope all y'all stay safe in the off season. For those that were here, I think Willie Snead doesn't know if he's going to be back. Like I said, RG3 was cut today. Mark Ingram will be cut tomorrow. These are just moves that I think that Eric DaCosta, Dick Cass, and the front office know that they have to make in order to make this team better. And I think that I've seen this before. I've seen this play out before. If you look at when they won in 2011, look at that offensive line they had. Brian McKinney. I wonder, was Ben Grubbs on that team? Was Ben Grubbs on that team? Might have been Ben Grubbs. Matt Burke. Marshall Yonda. Michael Orr. You saw the necessary pieces that were needed to building a championship team. You have a potential championship caliber team here, but it needs pieces. And again, like I said, I gave you my reasons. A number one wide receiver, interior offensive line help. Your linebackers situation. Who are you going to sign? Your DBs. I believe out of 7 of them, 4 of them are free agents. No, I take it back. Let me look. I'm sorry. Let me look back on Sport Track. I'm sorry. Yeah, 7 of them remain on contract for next season. So, it's. The Ravens have some choices. Have a lot of work to do in the offseason. Because I'm looking at it here, the only lone player is Jalen Ferguson. Jalen Ferguson? Yeah. He's locked in for a contract for next year. Everyone else is either a free agent, is an unrestricted or restricted free agent. So, but we know that they'll take care of that. But yeah, those are what I think the Ravens have to fix. And again, I'm going to leave all this in the description for y'all to read. These are the Sports Track, look at the contracts and all the other stuff like that. I think you just take a look at it. But other than that, a little disappointed to see that occur. But like I said, I think this season, in the midst of what they were what they went through, I saw a different mentality. But like I said, a lot of strengths turn into weaknesses. And I think it really starts with, honestly, again, Lamar working on his mechanics. But he needs help. I cannot stress it enough. He needs help. It's like, I don't really see how they just refuse to see that. Again, Stephen A. Smith, who's talking about, you have the worst passing attack, but you fail to ignore, you ignore to see what's really around him. It's like, for example, right? Like I'll say last 3 years, rest in peace, Kobe. When Kobe had, guys like Jordan Farmar or Ronnie Price or Robert Sacre, all Nick Young, scrubs. Not Nick Young, but guys that you would go, well, this is what you're putting around Kobe Bryant. But Kobe Bryant, still go out there and drop 30 and try to get us 42 wins. When you feel they realize what's around Kobe. Does that make sense? So with Lamar, I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying Hollywood Brown or Miles Boykin or Mark Andrews are like that, but they need that guy. They need that guy or two that's going to take them from here to here. Plain and simple. And on top of that, also too, again, Andrews kind of played this team. Hayden Hurst was traded to the Atlanta Falcons this past off season, and then Nick Boyle went down with that horrendous injury. So again, guys, we lost. This season and some part last season. Master Core is coming off a leg injury, which we all thought was to us as damn near career ending. So, I'm all for the next man up, and I'm not saying Sikora and Macari are terrible, but they needs to be upgrades, okay? And I'm gonna leave it at that. Me personally, I think I should try out for the Ravens for next season. Westminster. I think I should maybe get on the phone, try to find out how to do a tryout. I'm thinking about doing it seriously, honestly, but yeah, man. Just disappointed. Like I said, for them to keep their heads up. I think they're going to be all right next season. Eric DaCosta and the crew. I think Newsom left the team in great hands, and I think the Ravens are going to be all right. But these are issues that have to be fixed now. Plain and simple. Washington Wizards. This is about the seventh game that's been postponed due to COVID, because now the seventh players tested positive. Hockey started the other day. Caps lost yesterday in a shootout to the Penguins. Washington football team lost to Tampa. So, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think the Ravens need to do. Again, let's have a conversation about this. But again, please stay safe. Do not forget to hit that thumbs up. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace. Stay up, y'all.